Make sure you guys hit the subscribe button if you guys are enjoying the content that we're throwing up. And make sure you guys hit the like button if you enjoy the video. And yeah, let's begin. What's going on, guys? This is Rob, and in today's episode of our Beyond Omega Levels series, we're going to discuss a cosmic character that I would imagine many of you have never heard of, but who is one of the most powerful cosmic entities to ever appear in Marvel Comics. Also, a lot of you guys have requested that we do more Beyond Omega Level stuff for DC Comics. You guys got it. Here's the thing. The term Beyond Omega Level is strictly a Marvel term, but we use it as a general term to describe characters in comics that are just ridiculously overpowered. DC, as far as I'm aware, doesn't really have a power classification in the same way that Marvel does. And even Marvel didn't have it for a long time, right? The only reference you had to Beyond Omega Level, or like Omega Level itself, was like some reference to Rachel Summers back during the era of Chris Claremont. It wasn't until Grant Morrison took over with New X-Men that you actually started getting a kind of hierarchical structure of powerful characters in relation to the mutant population. And then Marvel expanded that out, and they started calling them Omega Level threats if they were equal to Beyond or equal to Omega Level mutants, but were not mutants themselves, right? So there's just kind of a clear little to clear that up a little bit. But yeah, we can do more DC Comics stuff. A lot of you guys have asked for that. There's no reason not to. So Tyrant was created by Ron Mars and Ron Lim and first appeared in Silver Surfer number 81 in 1993. Now, within the continuity of Marvel Comics, Tyrant was actually created by Galactus shortly after the creation of the universe, when he felt the first pangs of insatiable hunger that would lead him to become the devourer of worlds. Now, we don't know exactly why Galactus decided to create a living machine, whether he wanted a companion of comparable power or just to prove that he could, or he got bored, or just whatever the reason, he ended up creating Tyrant in his own image. Tyrant, however, soon grew jealous of Galactus, and unlike his creator, was not satisfied in consuming just what he needed to survive, but instead developed a desire for conquest and subjugation, which really, you would think Galactus would have seen this coming when he decided to create somebody named Tyrant. But anyway, Tyrant ends up conquering several worlds, including the home world of the Spinsterhood, an ancient order of female warriors. Now, as we learn in Tyrant's first appearance from a member of the Spinsterhood named Ganymede, Tyrant had been conquering worlds for centuries in a war that spanned multiple galaxies before the Spinsterhood rallied to defeat him. But this does not make much sense because Ganymede describes Tyrant as being nigh omnipotent, so it doesn't really seem possible for a bunch of warriors with energy rods to be able to defeat him. And later, we learn that they actually didn't. While Tyrant did disappear, it was actually Galactus who, upon discovering Tyrant had been conquering and enslaving worlds, attacked him, resulting in a battle that, according to Thanos, likely destroyed entire galaxies. Now, although Galactus ultimately defeated Tyrant, Tyrant was able to prove a worthy foe for his creator. And so following this victory, Galactus stripped Tyrant of much of his power, and he seemingly disappeared from the universe. Now, after thousands of years, Tyrant ends up returning, and the trail of energy he leaves leads the Silver Surfer and Ganymede to his fortress, from which he'd ruled his vast empire millennia ago. Now, once they make their way through the fortress and encounter Tyrant, he defeats them easily and imprisons them alongside Gladiator of the Shi'ar, Beta Ray Bill, Terrax, and Morg, who was the herald of Galactus at that point in time. Now, the fact that Tyrant was able to subdue and imprison such ridiculously powerful entities is quite impressive, especially when you consider that Silver Surfer and Gladiator are probably beyond Omega Level themselves, and an argument could be made for the others being at or beyond Omega Level as well. But when we learn that Tyrant plans to siphon the energy of his prisoners to power his army of mechanical warriors to once again reclaim the empire he'd lost, Tyrant's minions then bring in another prisoner, the Jack of Hearts, who expels all his energy to free his fellow prisoners, who immediately go after Tyrant. Now, much to their surprise, Silver Surfer's energy blasts do not seem to affect Tyrant at all, and he's equally unfazed by an attack from Beta Ray Bill using his hammer Stormbreaker, as well as the energy beams of Gladiator. Now, as the battle rages on, it's clear that Tyrant more than outclasses even the combined efforts of all of his foes, as he handles the Silver Surfer, Beta Ray Bill, Gladiator, and Ganymede without breaking much of a sweat. And so Tyrant's victory is ultimately short-lived, as his creator Galactus arrives to have words with his creation. And it's here that we learn that Galactus took the action that he did in defeating and depowering Tyrant because he viewed Tyrant as a threat to the universe's stability. And so that lets us know how powerful of an entity that we're dealing with here. And even now, Galactus is hesitant to engage Tyrant in battle, acknowledging that doing so would be damaging to not only the both of them, but the entire galaxy itself. And so Galactus actually goes as far as to allow Tyrant to keep his herald Morg as a power source to avoid getting into a conflict with him, although he vows to deal with Tyrant at a later date. And so we would next see Tyrant cross paths with another cosmic mainstay of the Marvel landscape in the Mad Titan, Thanos. So in the miniseries called Cosmic Powers, Thanos teams up with Ganymede, Jack of Hearts, Terrax, and Captain Marvel to venture to Tyrant's fortress, and it's at this point that Thanos discovers Tyrant's origin as the creation of Galactus. But what is more interesting is that the two of them actually fight one another, and the two of them battle to a stalemate before Thanos leaves the battlefield, having obtained what he came for, an orb containing the power cosmic that Tyrant had been siphoning from Morg. And although Thanos seems to think himself the victor of the battle, he didn't actually appear to damage Tyrant in any meaningful way. And so Tyrant continues to hold Morg prisoner and sends him back to Galactus with mental implants designed to control him. And so Morg manages to overcome Tyrant's control, and during Tyrant's final battle with Galactus, Morg obtains and uses the Ultimate Nullifier, one of the most powerful objects in the Marvel Universe, and the only thing that Galactus fears. And once the Ultimate Nullifier is detonated, Tyrant seems to be completely and totally destroyed, and hasn't really been seen in the Marvel Universe since. And this was back in 1995, so we haven't seen Tyrant in a quarter of a century, in a medium notorious for bringing back characters from the dead multiple times. And I think that's why Tyrant, despite being powerful enough to battle Galactus and subjugate multiple worlds to his rule, is a character that slipped through the cracks and not a lot of people know about. But with that being said, guys, that's really the best display of Tyrant's power, right? Normally we go through like a list of the things that they've achieved and all that kind of stuff, but like literally the guy took out the totality of the Annihilators and Galactus was afraid to fight him. I think that kind of speaks for itself. I think that demonstrates beyond Omega level classification. So if you guys are new here to Comics Explained, make sure you guys hit the sub button to become part of the Rob Corps. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you drop a like. And again, feel free to post some DC comic book characters that you guys want to see me cover in Beyond Omega level, because admittedly, we have really only ever been focusing on Marvel for a long time. And that's one of the things that people noticed actually. On the Twitch stream, it's one of the requests that people had, right? Where we just live stream Comics Explained 24/7. A lot of people had requested that in the Beyond Omega level series, and even in the character explanation series, that we focus more on DC characters as opposed to just largely being Marvel, and that's fair. So I'll do my best to bring you guys more DC comic stuff. Post some suggestions down in the comments section. I'll have my writer take a look at them, and he can kind of pick through and start making videos or start writing scripts for you guys. So with that being said, guys, we're going to bring this video to an end. If you are new here to Comics Explained, make sure you guys hit the sub button to become part of the Rob Corps. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you drop a like, and I will catch you all later. Peace.